Firstly is the introduction Ministry of the Transportations. Ministry of Transportations is the one of the ministry government in Malaysia that responsibility for matters related to the transportations available in Malaysia. To be more specific, Ministry of Transportations is will control and supervise related to transport, road transport, civil aviation, marine, road safety, port authority, railway assets, maritime, air accident investigations, logistic, maritime safety, shipping, rail transport, airport and airline. Every movement in work related to the Ministry of Transportation will be managed by the Transport Ministry itself. There are two organizations in the under the Ministry of the Transportation. The first one is the Federal Department and the second one is the Federal Agency. This is to focus to implement and formulate land transport, logistic, maritime and aviation policy. Besides, to focus to plan and execute land transportation, logistic, maritime and aviation infrastructure. This is to make available transport services delivery system for it. Also to make the transportation system as its best so that they will stay active, involvement and influence international organizations.
Initiative introduced by Ministry of Transport is firstly National Transport Policy (NTP) during the administration of Tun Dr. Mahathir. It is to lay out the core and strategies to enhance the country's economic competitiveness. As such, the policy is also able to provide a strong social impact, especially with respect to inclusivity and accessibility while reducing the negative impact of the transportation system on the environment. It is also an overarching policy to guide relevant federal ministry and agency as well as state governments and local authority to develop a streamlined transport initiative toward a common goal, resulting in effective and efficient use of resources. The National Transport Policy (NTP) 2019 until 2013 has set out a number of specific strategies to provide a smart, connected, and convenient public transport system that meet the needs of the citizens of the country. It is also formulated with a vision to develop a sustainable transport sector that drives economic growth and support the well-being of the people in line with the status of a developed country. Next, the Ministry of Transport was received an allocation around RM6.05 billion under the 2021 budget that provided various incentives to benefit the people during pandemic COVID-19. And all the initiatives introduced are aimed at easing the burden of the people. Among the initiatives that has been introduced by MOHD during the pandemic are firstly, Stage Bus Services Transformation SBST program. This program will be expanded to Johor Bahru, Kuching, Kota Kinabalu and Kuantan in stage from 2021 to 2023 with an allocation around 150 million ringgit. The program encompasses elements of a modern and efficient bus service system such as providing a convenient, stable and interconnected public transport network throughout the day with an easy-to-understand structure and schedule. In addition, it will use the concept of more efficient sub and spoke network for people to arrive at their destination. Based on a more comprehensive service model, the use of a cashless ticket system as well as dynamic and online service monitoring. Second is My 13 Public Transport Subsidy. This subsidy was focused on reducing the cost of daily public transport, and it will benefit more than 100,000 Malaysian public transport users with a total of around 100 billion ringgit. According to Ministry of Transport, Wee Kao Seong has said My 13 Klang Valley will allow passengers to use My Rapid Bus and rail, while Mine 13, Kuantan and Penang will make it easy for passengers to use My Rapid Bus services. Lastly, the Road Transport Department will increase the number of kiosks. It is as the initiative to provide various key services such as vehicle road type renew, apart from channeling RM1,000 to taxi driver, e-hailing services, rental car and also tourist guide in Sabah through the additional car special grant in 2021 budget.
There have been many achievements of the Ministry of Transport since the end of the last year. First is Malaysia and Singapore reached a joint agreement to finalize the implementation of the Rapid Transit System Link project which connects the two countries. The Rapid Transit System Link Johor Bahru and Singapore is a strategic government project to enhance cross-border connectivity between the two neighboring countries. It is set up from Johor Bahru's Bukit Jagar station to Singapore Woodland North Link Railway Transit System station, transporting up to 10,000 passengers per hour in one-way trips. Second is the new alignment known as East Coast Rail Link 3.0 was implemented after considering the results of discussions and a consensus with stakeholders involved in East Coast Rail Link project. The Ministry of Transport decided to change the alignment of section East Coast Rail Link to the proposed original alignment 2016-2017. The Ministry of Transport responsible for overseeing the implementation of the East Coast Rail Link project found that the Northern Line would increase its affordability, in turn providing greater economic, environmental and social benefits. It also improved its affordability by including the proposed infrastructure of the Serenda Bypass project as part of East Coast Rail Link project alignment and scope. Third is the Ministry of Transport is collaborate with Sarawak government. They introduced airport construction sites in Bukit Mabung, Kapi and Bebuling in Spout and Betong worth RM264.9 million. The provision of this facility demonstrates the state government's commitment to transform the economy. By doing this, it's built a service communication and security network in rural area. And last but not least is Malaysia will have National Railway Centre of Excellence for the railway industry, which will be a key catalyst for talent development. It is an entity of operating under auspices of the Ministry of Transport to implement strict governance between agencies and industry workforce. The National Centre of Excellence is able to train new talent according to the required skill set of the industry as well as provide recognized certifications. From here, the Malaysia rail industry will be a strong and sustainable business able to meet the demands of national rail transport and competitive worldwide workforce.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ATASHA binti ISMAIL FADLI. Okay, so in my part that I want to present is about the outcome, the Ministry of Transportation in Malaysia. Okay, so modern communication and transportation system in Malaysia today, there are many patterns of changes. Before this, the transportation system was only water-based. There is all the transportation facilities using the river and the sea. Roads play a major role in connection with each other. But now, everything has improved that through this challenging modern era. So Malaysia has moved to the more competitive level where it is based on the science and technology. So there are many outcomes for the invention as well as advance that the changes pattern in existing system. So among of them, there are technological advance have the increase to a production of Malaysian vehicle, where is the, for example, is Proton and Pradua, the branding of Malaysian vehicle. So the another more, the integrated rail system is built using the high technology and expertise. Second is policy on the importation of motor vehicle is control manner, where is the an element of export and import of the vehicle branding to Malaysia and also from the abroad. Third is government policy. They have a venture into the automotive field and produce the national vehicle, have the influence more transportation network the system. Fourth is in terms of the economy, which is able to export mining and agriculture sector. The effect of national investment can be increased and it will add to economic system is our country. And the last one is in terms of social, to increase the movement of population, whereas we now have a good facilities to move and carry out the economic activities in Malaysia.
Okay, so my part is benefits to the target group. So the first, giving a lot of importance to rural area. This is because due to the development of transportation has been upgraded, therefore the rural community is not left behind to use the system of transportation facility that have been provided and given attention in rural area. For example, provide many bus service in rural area that can be used for them to go to the city if there is business or want to use public transport that provide. Second, assist in the development of a larger city in Malaysia. Urban areas like Kuala Lumpur are busy city, then where public transport facility have often an effective solution to residents from low-income households has it helped reduce mobility limitation or their mobility. It is true that when using public service such as LRT, MRT, and bus, it can also save costs and time will also be saved, and then faster if using transportation service to go to work. Therefore, public transport is very important to ensure that the urban will get many benefits in terms of social economy opportunities. Third, target group is tourism sector in Malaysia. Transportation facility provided in the tourist attraction is also very important to facilitate the movement of tourists to arrive at the attraction area. This is because without the provision of proper transportation service, the attraction area or tourism system within the attraction area will be slow and inactive. In addition, the transportation industry plays a role in transforming a less developed environment into a comfortable and harmonious environment, not only to be comfortable to live in but also easy to visit. Lastly, benefit to the target group that we can see when transportation has grown and improved, which is to the employees who use the public transportation system can reach office or factory. This is because of the importance they get when our country has a sophisticated transportation system, especially such as MRT, LRT, commuter, and so on, then which that our employees can reach their destination of work quickly and on time. For instance, due to public transport such as light rail transit LRT and mass rapid transit MRT use rail, so it can reduce congestion, save time, and the community use the transportation system. It can save on daily expenses such as saving on petrol and parking fees.
Appointing two operators or hostlers to operate the train manually and another as a safety and compliance officer is one of the recommendations and initiative from the MOD. This is because the government is serious about the recent incidents, which is the incidents involved two LRT trains and it was due to human negligence. The operator or hostler of the TR40 train, which was not carrying passengers at the time, had driven the train in the opposite direction. So, by implementing the recommendations, it can prevent such incidents from happening again. So next is about long waiting period for KTM. Based on my experience, to get to go and back from work requires a very long KTM's commuter waiting period. By increasing the number of LRT, MRT, and even KTM commuters, public transportation operators can improve the frequency of public transportation vehicles picking up passengers. So the next one is improve the quality of public transport services. Public transport services companies can provide facilities such as free Wi-Fi in KTM, monorail, LRT, and others. With this availability of these facilities, it can attract people to use the service. Internet network in the public service is a necessity nowadays. It will also make it easier for the public to stay in touch when an emergency situation occurs. As we know, it is quite difficult to get network when using monorail because the route has no network to access the internet. So the last one is the Ministry of Transport must address the issue of drunk drivers in this country by tightening the law. With the increase in civilian deaths in accidents caused by drivers under the influence of alcohol, this has been much voiced from many people. So heavier penalties should be imposed on individuals convicted of driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. This is because it will involve innocent people if the accident happen due to an irresponsible drive. So the government may prioritize the public interest in decreasing killings on the roads and blow a new one in the world's eyes. Because society is difficult and unable to change, then the law should be changed.
In the conclusions, the Ministry of Transportation is very important in a country. This is because to ensure that the transportation system in a country runs smoothly. Also, with a good transport ministry and always forward thinking will make transportation system more advanced and efficient. And there is because there will always have a progress in the system at one time. Also, the continuous progress and management of the transportation system will always at the maximum level as improving the system to be more safe to produce and the best system to develop the country's economy. Also, Ministry of Transportation is working to strengthen the transportation system driven by the technology as a catalyst for national development. Also, strive to introduce the Malaysian transportation system as the best transport system. And also working to be more active so that transportation system in our country is considered as the best on par with the other developed countries.